Sophie Cunningham showed that she is, the old Caitlin Clark enforcer. She is the Caitlin Clark enforcer. That has been shown. She is the enforcer that the Fever have needed for the last year, and she has responded. She has responded.
It began with a swipe to Caitlin Clark's face, followed by a sudden shove that sent her crashing to the court. But perhaps more surprising than the incident itself was what came next. Nothing. No whistle. No foul. Just silence. As the referees stood still, the message was unmistakable. The league's brightest star wasn't being protected. Instead, she was being targeted, and allowed to be roughed up with minimal consequences. But what no one expected was that one of her teammates had been watching, and she was about to respond in a big way.
Sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, is anybody on this team gonna stand up for Caitlin Clark? JC Sheldon grabbing Caitlin Clark all game, clawing at her. It's like tonight was a brawl, folks. Tonight was a brawl, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, is anybody on this team going to stand up for? And Sophie Cunningham.
Caitlin Clark's arrival sparked a wave across the WNBA, sold-out arenas, record-breaking TV numbers, and constant media buzz. But with all that excitement came an undercurrent of hostility. On the court, the rookie sensation wasn't treated like a rising star, she was treated like a threat. And some opponents were determined to break her spirit.
With the play that set off the entire night. So as you guys can see here, JC Sheldon is guarding Caitlin Clark. She swipes her in the eyeball. Caitlin Clark nudges her off because JC stays in her face. And then Tina Charles runs over and is kind of wagging her finger in Caitlin Clark's face. And then Marina Mabrey comes out of nowhere and chucks her to the floor. Now let's watch this in slow motion. Here, JC Sheldon is guarding Caitlin, swipes her in the face. There's one. Going for the ball, swipes her in the eyeball. Caitlin's gonna have to start wearing goggles. And then Caitlin pushes her off of her, like, why are you still in my face? Marina Mabrey, bat out of hell, chucks Caitlin.
The physicality wasn't just part of the game, it was a pattern. Clark wasn't just facing tough defense, she was enduring a steady stream of aggressive contact. Legal screens blurred into full-body checks, and normal off-ball movement turned into elbows, shoves, and grabs, most happening just beyond the official's line of vision.
To WNBA Fight Night, or as some people are saying, WNBA Raw. What a game that was. We had it all. We had basketball, we had fighting, we had blonde on blonde crime. Oh, such an epic. Oh, goodness. But at the end of the day, it resulted in an Indiana Fever W. 88-71, taking care of it.
Whether spoken or not, the message from the league was becoming clear. Clark was not going to get any special treatment. Each match became a test of endurance, a way to see if the rookie could be worn down emotionally and physically. And for weeks, she kept her composure, never retaliating, staying laser-focused. But game after game, the intensity increased. And it was only a matter of time.
Here, this is, of course, Sophie and Sheldon going down the floor. Sophie tries to wrap her up, and Sheldon gets to the floor, and all hell breaks loose. And Sophie said, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. We'll go. We'll go. So there's that. That, of course, was all a byproduct of this right here, folks. And I mean, when I tell you social media is setting the WNBA on fire right now, not in a good way.
That turning point came during a charged matchup against the Connecticut Sun defender JCS Sheldon was guarding Clark with unusual intensity, and during one possession, her defense crossed a clear line, swiping directly at Clark's face and making contact near her eye. Visibly in discomfort, Clark responded by pushing Sheldon away, a reaction many would consider instinctive in that situation. Normally, that's where it would have ended.
Of course, Marina Mabrey is going to get ejected because that was unwarranted. She literally came out of nowhere and chucked Caitlin Clark. There should be a flagrant one, of course, on JC Sheldon because she swiped her and hit her in the eyeball. Whether it is intentional or not, you can still have a flagrant a flagrant foul called on you, whether you are trying to intentionally hurt somebody or not. But this is what they called, you guys. This is what they called. Caitlin Clark, Marina Mabrey, Tina Charles were assessed with technical fouls on Tuesday. Caitlin, Marina, and Tina Charles. Technical fouls. That's it. Technical fouls. That's it. And JC Sheldon was assessed with a flagrant 1 foul, and no players were.
But the situation escalated in an unexpected and alarming way. Out of nowhere, Marina Mabrey, who wasn't even involved in the initial exchange, charged toward Clark and forcefully shoved her to the ground. It wasn't a basketball play. There was no attempt to contest the ball or make a defensive move. The act looked deliberate and aggressive, with the clear goal of sending a message right in front of a national audience.
I feel good, and Sophie Cunningham put me out on a high note, folks. I didn't even say, Ben, calm down, regroup. I didn't even say that. Let's get straight to the play. Everybody, the plays everybody is talking about. First off, Marina Mabrey body checking Caitlin Clark to the ground. JC Sheldon all over her. Riding her. Pokes Caitlin Clark in the eye. Oh, man. Caitlin Clark needs to start wearing goggles, folks. Caitlin Clark's going to need to start wearing goggles. Bumps up on Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark says, "Get your hands off me." And then here comes Marina Mabrey. Boom! Exploding Caitlin Clark like a safety coming downhill in the NFL. There was no flop.
The physical altercation on the court was intense, but what truly stunned fans and analysts alike was how the officials responded. Instead of holding the aggressor accountable, referees handed out technical fouls to multiple players, including Caitlin Clark and Tina Charles, who had little to do with the incident. Most surprisingly, Marina Mabrey, the player who delivered the hard, unprovoked shove, was not ejected. She wasn't even assessed a flagrant 2 foul, despite the clear nature of the contact. To many observers, the league had sent a troubling message. Even the most blatant attacks on its top talent might go unchecked.
About a minute and a half into recording this reaction earlier, with 1 minute left, and all hell broke loose between JC Sheldon and Sophie Cunningham, and it is very clear the Indiana Fever, some of these girls on this team are finally fed up.
The officiating raised deeper concerns. Clark, the player who had been hit, received the same penalty as those who had initiated the aggression. Instead of protecting the victim, the system seemed to penalize her. The officials' failure to step in not only undermined their role but also left the game teetering on the edge of chaos. In that moment, it became clear, if protection wasn't going to come from the whistle, it would have to come from somewhere else entirely.
In WNBA, we're not talking about your basketball. We're talking about the WNBA, WWE Raw circus that you got going on right now. And we all know this incident with Sophie stems from the incident that was clearly not handled correctly by the WNBA and the referee.
Sitting on the bench, Sophie Cunningham had been watching everything unfold. She saw the missed calls, the unchecked fouls, and finally, her teammate being knocked to the ground with no repercussions. For Cunningham, that was the final straw. Later in the game, an opportunity presented itself. As JCS Sheldon, who had been heavily involved in the earlier altercation, drove toward the basket, Cunningham stepped in and delivered a strong foul that sent Sheldon crashing to the floor.
All right, enough is enough. You know, at some point, the line gets crossed too often where something needs to be done and things need to be corrected. And that is certainly the case with the way things around Caitlin Clark are officiated. This is a constant problem now. You know, it is something that since the beginning, I've kind of backed off on because physical play is a part of sports. You know, going after a superstar and trying to rough them up a little bit to get in their head is a part of sports. But when it crosses the line, the referees need to do their...
There was nothing accidental about Cunningham's move. It wasn't a misjudged play or a mistimed block. It was intentional, decisive, and delivered with purpose. A brief scuffle broke out as players from both teams rushed in, but Cunningham stood firm. Her message was unmistakable, and she didn't need words to deliver it. Caitlin Clark would no longer be a free target. The Indiana Fever had drawn their line in the sand.
NBA, Kathy Engelberg. Hello, Earth to Kathy Engelberg. Are you going to step in and do something about this trash that's going on? Players are getting assaulted on the floor. Come on, Caitlin Clark could have really got injured right there, y'all. She could have really got injured by these haters, these jealous, hating players. They just jealous and hating, bro. It's just, she didn't even get
That single moment defined a new role for Sophie Cunningham, one that extended beyond stats or plays. She had taken on the time-honored responsibility found across every sport, protecting the star. Just like a football lineman shielding his quarterback, or a hockey player defending the team's top scorer, Cunningham embraced the unspoken code of loyalty. Her response filled the void left by the officials, reasserting a sense of respect that had been noticeably absent.
This is what she posted as soon as it happened. This is in the locker room. This is before the game ended. Before the game ended, she comes out in the locker room and posts this. Like, what are we doing?
After the heated on-court moment, Sophie Cunningham made her way to the locker room. Shortly after, a post appeared on her social media, a photo of her looking composed and completely unfazed. No caption, no apology, just a calm expression that said it all. It was a quiet yet powerful message. She stood by her actions. She wasn't backing down, and if needed, she was ready to step in again.
Caitlin Clark, please leave this league and let it crumble. Please, this league does not deserve you. All this hate from these black people, all this hate from these lesbians, these people in the media, just go play basketball somewhere else. Your fans will follow you. We will follow you wherever you go. But let this shit crumble and burn to the ground, man. Let the viewership drop below 50%. Let them lose hundreds of millions of dollars again, man. Let them go back into irrelevancy. Nobody giving a damn about none of these players.
That moment marked a turning point. The dynamics around the Indiana Fever shifted instantly. Opponents now had to factor in more than just Clark's offensive game. They had to deal with the presence of her protector. What was once seen as an opportunity to play physically against Clark was now a risk. Sophie Cunningham had changed the equation. She wasn't just a teammate, she had become a deterrent.
Nah. Enough's enough, bruh. Enough is enough, bruh. What is going on? WNBA, y'all need to get this under control. This is ridiculous. Marina Mabry, you just put yourself in the Dejanay Carrington box. You dirty slime ball player, you come and blindside Caitlin Clark. Marina Mabry assaulted and tried to fight Caitlin Clark today. This is ridiculous. WNBA, Kathy Engelberg, do something. Do y'all want to go back to 55 to 60% of the people not watching shit again? I normally don't cuss in my blogs, but forget that. This was...
Cunningham wasn't just playing her position, she had taken on a new responsibility. Her presence alone sent a message. Any unnecessary roughness toward Clark would be met with a response. She moved with intent, watching and protecting. Her role was part defender, part guardian, making sure the line drawn in that Connecticut game would never be crossed again.
She went and got revenge. Sophie Cunningham, JC Sheldon's driving to the basket. Sophie Cunningham takes her down. Normal enough take foul. Lindsay Allen gets her by the neck. Then JC Sheldon goes at her, and Sophie Cunningham, by the way, Sophie Cunningham, if she wanted to, it looked like Sophie Cunningham was about to throw some knees at her. Like, she had her in an MMA hold. Like, Sophie Cunningham could have got this MMA fight ended. She could have got this fight ended quick.
With one bold act, Cunningham created a new standard around Clark, not built on expectations from referees or league officials, but on immediate accountability from within the team. She redefined how star players could be shielded, shifting the focus from hoping for calls to guaranteeing consequences.
Game, but first, let's talk about Sophie and JC. All right, JC Sheldon. My goodness, Doug. My goodness. Now, honestly, I felt like Sophie might have wanted a piece of JC after the Caitlin Clark and JC kind of scuffle going on, right? Then this happened.
And Cunningham's impact wasn't limited to one play. Every minute she's on the court, she sends a message. Her defense goes beyond stopping shots. It's about setting a tone. Her intense focus, the way she positions herself near Clark, and her body language all serve a purpose. She's not just playing defense, she's controlling the space around her teammate like an invisible shield. It's strategic, it's psychological, and it's working.
Caitlin Clark on the receiving end of something, and it's not called correctly. In fact, she gets a technical foul after getting poked in the eye and then shoved to the floor, and Marina Mabry doesn't even get thrown out of the game. It's basically open season on Caitlin Clark, and the special whistle that she supposedly gets goes in the other direction. Flagrantly so. They got to put it to an end. I mean, she's the most valuable player in the league in the most literal sense. And somehow she gets the opposite.
This story has never been about reckless aggression. It's about presence, and the power of being seen and felt without needing to say a word. Now, whenever an opposing player even considers setting a hard screen on Caitlin Clark, they're first checking where Sophie Cunningham is. That moment of hesitation? That's a quiet win. She's not just shielding Clark from physical harm, she's sparing her from the mental toll of constant contact. Cunningham has become more than just a player, she's a moving boundary, a clear warning, push too far, and there will be a response. But this wasn't just a moment of protection, it was the moment that redefined a team. Before that night, the Indiana Fever were seen as the team with Caitlin Clark at the center, a rising star with the spotlight squarely on her. But in the wake of that confrontation, they became something more, a tough, unified squad built on loyalty and resilience. A team with edge. A team with backbone. And at the heart of that transformation is Sophie Cunningham. Her decision to step in didn't just shield a teammate, it reshaped the way the Fever are perceived across the league. Suddenly, other teams began asking, do we need someone like that too? Has Cunningham brought back the idea of the enforcer in women's basketball, not just as a role, but as a mindset? In the end, Caitlin Clark's rookie year won't be remembered only for her deep threes, dazzling assists, or shattered records. It will also be remembered as the season she was tested and protected. It will be remembered for the moment one teammate refused to let her face it alone. Because in every great story of greatness, there's someone standing beside the star. For Caitlin Clark, that someone was Sophie Cunningham, unyielding, fearless, and exactly who the Fever needed when it mattered most.